Welcome to Business, and I'm joined by our business editor, Marcus Carlson. Hello again, Marcus.
Hello there.
Starting off with a strike at German carrier Lufthansa.
Yeah, more than 100 of the German flag carriers' flights have been cancelled this Friday. This as cabin crew have gone on strike. This follows a breakdown in the negotiations between the unions as well as the main cabin crew union in at Lufthansa. You're seeing live shots here from Frankfurt, Lufthansa's main hub, and this is where most cabin crew are based. The cabin crew who are striking this Friday, they will be on strike till 1 o'clock, so just after lunchtime today, so watch out for that. The unions, they wanted a 5% pay increase because they say that they haven't had any pay increases for the past 3 or 4 years, whereas Lufthansa is only reportedly willing to stretch as far as 3.5%. Lufthansa says it doesn't know the full impact of this strike just yet, but it says it will prioritize intercontinental flights, and most flights that have been cancelled, they are European flights.
All right, moving to the US, and we're asking, will he or won't he?
Yeah, we're talking about Ben Bernanke. Global markets, they are on tenterhooks ahead of a speech with the Federal Reserve Chairman in Jackson Hole in the U.S. state of Wyoming this Friday. Global markets, they want to know, will Ben Bernanke and the Fed provide more stimulus for the American economy, the number one economy across the globe, of course, and that is why everyone is looking at this. 2 years ago, when Ben Bernanke was speaking at this forum for central bankers from across the world, he announced stimulus measures. So that's why everyone, once again, they're looking at him for that.
How are the markets feeling ahead of that then?
Well, it seems as if the markets, they're feeling a little bit hesitant that Ben Bernanke will come up with more stimulus. The Paris CAC 40 opening to the downside this morning, whereas the London FTSE 100 and the Frankfurt DAX are largely flat. If we look at some individual companies, shares in Hermès have gained more than 3% so far this session. The maker of silk scarves and leather goods has raised its full-year forecast, and it's mainly due to strong sales growth in China. Its net income during the first half was 335 million euros. That's a 15% rise in comparison to last year. Meanwhile, shares in Iliad have opened around 4% up. The owner of the French mobile network operator Free has posted a net profit of 80 million euros. That's down 45% in comparison to last year, but it's still better than expected because Free Mobile entered the French market just as late as January, but it still managed to gather up quite a client base. So far, it has gathered up 3.6 million customers, or just 1 million extra customers in the second quarter. So that is why we're seeing that share trading up this morning. Let's also take a look at the Asian indices, because most of the Asian indices, they are down this Friday, with the Nikkei 225 in particular taking a real hit there, as you can see. And that's because of a surprise drop in industrial production. Industrial production in Japan fell 1.2% in July in comparison to June. That's a disappointing sign, of course, for the world's third largest economy. Slowing exports to Europe, as well as a strong Japanese yen, there seem to be weighing on these figures.
And staying in Japan, Korean electronics maker Samsung has won a legal battle there.
Yeah, this is an interesting story in a very long-running legal battle between Apple and Samsung. A court in Japan, as you say, has rejected a request by Apple that Samsung copied features of its iPhone and iPad. Apple basically wanted Samsung to pay up for infringing on its patents. The Japanese court in question said no. Apple or Samsung hasn't infringed on your patents, and that follows a court ruling in the United States, of course, last week, in which Samsung was told to pay Apple more than $1 billion for infringing on Apple's patents. A judge in the United States is also weighing up the pros and cons of banning 8 Samsung handsets from the US market. So this ruling in Japan comes at a very sensitive time.
We're going to finish up with some bittersweet news for French winemaking.
Yeah, the grape harvest here in this country will probably be the worst since 1991. That's according to the French agriculture minister. He announced that on Thursday. The low harvest, of course, is being blamed on bad weather over the summer. On the other hand, though, the agriculture minister also says that the quality of the grapes in question, it will probably be better than average. So whereas
an upside to the bad weather.
Exactly. Whereas the volumes will be the lowest since 1991. The quality of the grapes will be higher than average, and this is very important for France, of course, because last year France exported wines to a value of more than 10 billion euros, which was a record.
Wow. All right. Thank you very much, Marcus, for that. And thank you for watching. That's it for business. Do stay tuned.